It's time to put your costume on and listen to the Long Con.
Hello, Internet, and welcome to the Long Con Podcast, episode 36, where we talk conventions, cosplay, and other facets of geek culture. My name is Kevin Bly. With me tonight,
my name is
introduce yourself.
Dark Lord of the Sith.
You're Dark Lord of the Sith.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the Light Lord of the Sith. And we have us with Grey Lord of the Sith. Also known as Blight. It's the combination of black and white.
50 Shades of Sith.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
No, this is Steph. Why don't you talk about yourself a little bit, Steph, even though you've been on this podcast several times.
Sure.
She's been on it more than Nick has.
I'm always here.
I'm just a cardboard cutout.
She never left.
I'm Steph, and I am friends with these goons. And
Good backstory.
I don't see any goons.
We're just your henchmen.
yeah,
I see professional gentlemen.
a bunch of lovely gentlemen that are my friends that I hang out with at cons and in real life sometimes.
We actually met you at a con.
Yeah,
Cons aren't real life.
no, they're not.
Like 2010, right?
Yeah, we were just talking about this yesterday.
We were trying to figure out whose fault it was.
It was my fault and Bill's fault because we were in Resident Evil stuff, and
Yeah.
Steph and Missy were in Resident Evil stuff, and we started talking.
I was right.
So we were in our costume. I couldn't remember
Yeah.
if we were or
Yeah,
not.
we were.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Anyway,
Just-
what do I do? Oh yeah, I have a blog called Stephanie Plus Verb, and I do mainly Marvel-related reviews right now. But eventually I'll make cosplay posts again.
Uh-huh.
And you're professionally a writer.
Oh
kind
yes,
of,
I am the editor-in-chief of a magazine called Retail Merchandiser, which is just about things that you can buy. So that's retail.
That's called
Good.
catalog.
I always subscribe to those magazines of things I can't buy. So, yeah, just that.
hmm
Mm-hmm.
But I got to go to C2E2 as a press person this year.
That was pretty sweet because they paid for your badge, even though C2E2 badges aren't like the most expensive badges out
Right.
there.
It felt pretty exorbitant when I bought my Saturday only pass.
Well, yeah.
That's all right. Next year I'm going to go as a hydraulic, so I'll get my own press pass.
No, Dale.
Hydraulic press.
He was making a physics joke, but it's no.
It's not a physics, it's a machine. You
It was an
dick.
engineering joke, if anything.
Yeah.
Being subscribed to Physics Monthly.
Popular science.
Popular
Yes,
science.
there you
I want to subscribe to unpopular science. Speaking of unpopular things, this podcast.
Mhm.
But Steph, you had tried to like flow us into the next part, which was
I
we were
did,
at C2E2. I appreciate that. So we were at C2E2 this past weekend, and I thought it was a lot of fun. It's some of our favorite conventions. Some of us.
One of our favorite conventions.
Thank you, Dale, for phrasing that in a way that can be taken properly.
It made more sense.
It's true. I like Dragon Con the same for different reasons. But Nick, you like C2E2 the best, I think, correct?
Yeah, I like it the best.
Okay. So I don't know about you guys, but it's good. You should go.
I feel like it has the most open floor space.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Even when it's crowded, you can not feel like you're being choked to death, which at Dragon Con sometimes you feel like you're just being choked to death.
Like Dragon Con is in a series of hotels, which may not have the most space.
Or
Floor
any.
plan-wise, whereas McCormick Place is an actual convention center. It's in a very large convention center and a very open one, too. So you feel like there's actually adequate space that they allot for. So we actually shot some video this weekend, so I'm going to just share that and get that started, and we can talk over it. Or the cat will.
That was me.
Nick got a cat. Awesome.
Suki is
I
doing
am a cat.
circles around me right now.
Okay, I'm going to share this,
She's
and
about ready to attack.
you guys see the screen?
It's black.
It's the black screen.
Oh,
I'm
now I see
gonna-
DLC.
Yeah, I'm going to make sure that I actually click on this so it stays on there for the viewers at home.
Uh-huh. come on, accidentally load up porn.
No, I'm not gonna
No,
do
not
that.
last played. Not last played.
All right. So, as we've discovered in the past, you can't hear the video sound over my screen share, so you're just gonna have to deal. But
We'll upload it separately to the.
oh yeah, I'm gonna overlay it when I edit this. But why don't we? I actually don't have the outline up because this is up. So why don't we talk about C2E2? So this is like the area you first see when you come up the stairs, and it's been more and more crowded each year, but it's still pretty open.
Mm-hmm.
I found
Yeah, I
Waldo.
feel like I can.
Yeah, that's
Where?
my girlfriend Jen.
Now she's gone. Oh,
She
she's
is,
back.
and she's
I'm guessing this is
rematerializing.
heaven vision because it's very
Yeah.
tall.
I feel like this.
I feel like I'm flying.
C2E2 right here.
Mhm.
It's like that page in Where's Waldo, where they're all Waldos, except they're all Ray.
Yeah.
Ray
Or
and Deadpool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a bunch of Rays and Deadpools, and you have to find Waldo in there.
Yeah, well, can you tell? Like, conventions are kind of, they play host to whatever was most popular. That's kind of what you see the most cosplay out of. Unless you have large groups organizing things, and I didn't really see any very large groups organizing much. I mean, you can kind of predict that there's going to be a lot of Marvel and DC,
Mhm.
regardless.
You see me with my bib ready to eat.
Yeah,
So
Yep.
it's
Gotta
What
go
are you
have
eating?
some-
Like
Some wings or lobsters.
it's
live lobsters with the look of that bit.
barbecue lobsters.
Dale had several crates of CREs, which is cosplay ready to eat.
Yes.
Which grade of those are your favorite, Dale? Which CREs are your favorite?
B plus,
B plus.
because they don't have the time or the effort to get an A.
Okay.
They just, they got a lot of stuff going on outside of school, and it's their last semester.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes sense.
just gonna
Ironically,
get out
lunch
of
is
this
my
town,
best
man.
class. So.
I feel like I'm actually learning real maybe knowledge. Oh yeah, we saw lots of Kylo Rens this weekend. I forgot
yeah,
I
that's
saw the
another one.
lightsaber in the background. There were. Did you see more Kylo Rens or did you see more Matt? Which is
I
Kylo
think
Ren.
I saw more Matt.
I only saw one. I only saw one map.
Really?
I saw a couple mats.
I don't know how many repeats that I saw, but I feel like I saw about 10 of them.
This is what Bly pulled out when he
They were
Yeah,
pretty attractive,
they were-
the maps that I saw. To be quite honest.
I suppose I might have seen a couple and just thought they were the same guy.
It's possible.
I was only there on Saturday, so
So your opinion does not
I
matter.
missed 2 days of generalizing about cosplay.
It's
Yeah.
true.
Steph, you said you had a press badge. Was that for the whole weekend?
Yeah, it was for the whole weekend.
Okay, so did you go the entire weekend?
Yes,
Okay.
I don't think they can press badges for only one day.
that would be silly.
Yeah.
I've never had a press badge, so I don't know, Dale.
Neither am I.
You should
It
have
didn't really
had one.
seem like it was any different than having a regular badge because I didn't really get to do any of the interviews I had scheduled. So whatever.
Who were you planning on interviewing?
Claire
Me?
Kramer from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She was running every single celeb panel this weekend.
She
Or that-
moderates all the panels.
Yeah, so she just didn't have any time, which was fine. Like we had a time schedule, but it just didn't work out, and that's okay. And then I was supposed to go to interview Yaya Han, but it ended up becoming a press conference at the last minute,
Okay.
and I just didn't go to it. So I think it was at like 11 on Sunday, and being not at the hotel was kind of hard to get there at that time. So
Steph
Did-
earned her press badge.
Did you just commute from home?
yeah,
Okay.
Missy stayed with me,
Gotcha.
and I mean it was.
You weren't doing much heavy cosplay. The heaviest you had. Were you just Sky on Saturday? Was that
Yeah,
it? Okay. So which was like a vest and like.
yeah,
other
it's like
tackle gear,
a.
right?
It's just like a hoodie and then like this weird hood tactical vest and then like a tactical belt
Okay.
and then my shoes that are the exact shoes that she wears.
You're so proud of that.
Oh yeah. Well, they're really expensive, so I'm gonna brag about them.
And she pointed it out too, right?
Yes, he was very excited about my shoes.
That's relevant. So, well, why don't we jump to that because we're talking about it already. But you guys met Chloe Bennett, who is Skye on Agents of Shield.
We did.
So,
Yes.
and you guys got a photo with her.
Yes, she spotted us from afar in line, and well, she spotted me, I guess, more specifically, because I was cosplaying her. And she was like, "I see Season 2 Daisy over there," and I was like, "Yes."
And there were like 4 people ahead of you,
Yeah.
and all those people had nothing then.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I didn't see any cosplayers in line besides me and
Sorry,
Missy,
Freddy.
so.
Dale, we're not in
Yeah, I didn't either. It was just a bunch of dudes.
It is weird.
Yeah, what a shock.
Mm-hmm.
What's the plan today?
And
And then I
then,
hail hydrated her.
yeah.
I had my Hydra patch in my pocket, and then when they took the picture, I held it over her head, and she didn't notice.
First.
Well, to be fairly honest, she looks like she's 5 feet tall, so...
Well, she's bending down. She's actually about my height, so.
So 5 feet
Still about 5 feet tall.
God damn it. But
Um,
yeah, we talked about our shoes, and she was like, "Are you okay in those?" And I was like, "I'm fine. Just after a few hours, they're a little not so comfortable." She's like, "Oh, I know. I wear them for many hours." And then she asked me how I knew about the shoes. And then I was like, I just asked Ann Foley, who's the costume designer for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And she was like, "Oh my god, that's so cool that she told you."
that is a good idea, actually.
Yeah.
But where you guys differ is you were just cosplaying and walking around in them. She actually had to A, act in them, and B, probably run around and do other stuff.
Oh
in them.
yeah. I mean, I can run in those shoes, but I don't know if I could, fight
You
Act
stunts.
in those shoes?
Hydra dudes in them.
Exactly. So, props to her.
Yeah.
And then Dale and I are like unaccustomed to being at C2E2 not in costume, so this is all like really foreign to us. And I think we actually mentioned at the beginning of this clip that like we don't know if we've ever been at C2E2 like on the con floor at any point without a costume.
Yeah, I
but
think this was my first time ever too.
I think Dale last year, the both of us are like in the video. Both of us are up at the food court, not in costume, and that was on Sunday. So
Yeah,
I think
I
I
don't
can
think we've
invalid.
actually been inside of it out of costume before. I don't think so. So it's easier to buy stuff though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying like I'm pretty sure last year we weren't on Sunday.
Get your real glasses and then your fake ones.
Anyway,
I always come out of my costume way before you guys, so I've done it lots of times.
Yeah.
and I don't know why Missy was just staring at the camera blankly, but I just rolled with it.
I don't think her species blinks.
They don't, though.
Okay, good.
I just
She
framed
just-
that print
She
today.
just has a third eyelid that is constantly blinking so fast that you can't see it.
She only does that
Clear
when
one.
she's out of breath.
She just blinks to feel, or for other people to think that she's
It
human.
filters the oxygen into the brain.
Yeah.
And this
That
is
makes
science.
This
Yeah,
is,
this is
we're discussing art prints right now.
popular science.
Unpopular.
Podcast.
I want the Alistair Prince.
Dang,
So-
Kevin face.
Friday night.
That on my wall.
We'll get to Ask Me Another in just a second because the video's almost over, but because yeah, that's
We don't talk about that.
I don't want distractions for that.
Why? It's not very intense or anything.
It is super intense.
You know what was
Well-
intense? Trying to park there on
This-
Saturday.
this
it
is
took an
intense
hour and a
right here.
half.
Literally on our way out to leave C2E2 forever,
found him.
never to come back. We found Ron.
Where is
So
it?
it's like, oh, is that
Yeah.
Ron? I'm like, yes. So
Uh-oh.
we started sneaking behind signs and stuff so he
His-
wouldn't see us.
Put some
his-
Jaws music in this.
I've got some Metal Gear Solid sneaking music in it actually.
Nice.
In the actual video, but yeah, his selfie stick gave him away. He's got like a GoPro setup on his selfie stick.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we ran into him.
Yeah, we like hugged him.
I saw the exclamation.
Yeah, he did.
He got a little spooked because he's like, oh god, who is that?
Well, the guy at the table was like, "You're being double followed," and he's like, "Double followed," and then turned around and it was us. So
He's calling us back.
we have this weird. I don't know when it started, but like we'd been running into Ron since like 2010, I think.
Wasn't it
Like,
11?
I think the first C2E2 we saw him. He was
it?
dressed as Ghost at the time, like full on gear.
Yeah.
And then he had a camera. So I think I have a picture of him. If I do, I'll edit it in right here.
But
I don't see it.
what a nice
I don't-
picture.
Which I'm pretty sure.
Magical
So-
picture.
And
I didn't get
Dale,
to
you-
see it. Do it again.
No, I'm not going to do that. You weren't with us the first C2E2, right, Dale?
No, I had to work.
So just, I think it was just Nick Whitney and myself, and
I
we
think
ran
so.
around. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we have a picture with Ron.
That was when I
so
had
we-
my
Sure too.
puffy green Chris Redfield vest, that
That's-
puffy green vest.
That's
instead
true.
of the-
And then you just rolled with the curly hair,
Yeah.
which is not canon.
It is.
Well, if they reboot it, they can give Chris Redfield curly hair. So we've known him for like that long, and it's just become this game of who sees the other person first, and then you kind of tag along behind them or
Take
take
them
pictures of
down.
them before they see you.
He wins most of the time.
He does. That's
Really?
because Ron operates on hummingbird tendencies.
I feel like it's about 50-50 for me.
Not me.
Oh.
Dale,
Not
you're
very-
used to sneaking around. Some of us other people are too big to do that.
We snuck around and found him last year, Nick. Do you remember when he was taking photos at the cosplay
Oh, yeah,
contest?
yeah, I do remember that. We got him that time.
And we saw him at like the Dragon Con parade, which was like the weirdest time to find him because there's just a ton of people in that.
I remember
anyway-
that too.
Mm-hmm. Friday when you weren't there, Nick, Dale and I did the NPR live recording. They did a live recording for their show, Ask Me Another.
I'm so
and
jealous.
I mainly, like, I'd say 95% wanted to go to it because Jonathan Colton does, he's a co-host.
Yeah, 100%.
yeah.
That's why I would want to go to it.
Yeah. So, and he does, like, musical interludes, and they actually do, like, musical games on, I think most, I don't know if it's all of their podcasts,
Usually
Um,
involving chairs.
but, what? Chairs?
Musical.
chairs.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't think it was that simple. I was overthinking it. So,
I've been pretty softballing these things to you.
yeah, and I'm used to you like giving me harder difficulties. So
Words are
What?
hard.
I'm over smartening it.
Say, what was that, Kevin?
Over smartening?
Hmm.
An actual word, right?
I think so.
So we did that, and Jonathan Colt. It was Jonathan Colton and then Ophira Eisenberg, who I like her the way she speaks. She's got a what?
I like the way she speaks.
She
I like her
speaks.
weird talking.
She speaks more efficiently than the rest of us do.
Some of us, yes.
Some more than others.
They're far more professional. But they were
Paid for it.
it's basically like they have like a quiz show and then they have guests on. And I mean you can sign up to be like a contestant, and I don't even know what the winner got, but it was just kind of like you answer fun
There's that
questions
Rubik's Cube.
and stuff. Yeah, there was an Ask Me Another Rubik's Cube and some other, I assume, merchandise from C2E2.
I think the
stuff.
winner got to kill the losers.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Because
So-
I've never seen any of those people after the winner won, so I mean,
they got to sit back down was their prize for losing.
forever.
Uh-huh. And then they have guests on every time, and the guests we had were Rose McGowan from Charmed,
Yeah.
and Andy Gutierrez, who runs the social media stuff for Star Wars.
Mhm.
I believe she exclusively runs at Star Wars.
Yeah.
On Twitter.
That's
So
what she said.
she was pretty cool. I liked what she had
Yeah.
to say. And like Rose McGowan, I can understand how some people would like what she brought to the table, but I personally didn't find her stuff terribly interesting. It was Dale, do you want to talk about your
What did she talk about?
Oh god.
She talked a lot about like casting and stuff like that, and
How she lucked into the role that she got,
I don't know. It was
and
just kind of
then she went on a bit of a rant on how bad Hollywood is, and eventually it came down to a lot of it like she never got to be who she was because she had to play a part, and she felt horrible for that. And she's like, I did that for 5 years, and the whole time I'm thinking like, worked retail. Do you know how many people had to smile and say, "How are you? I'm good."
It's
13 years. Sorry, there's no sympathy for that kind of a thing. You have to play a part. You're acting. Your whole job is to be someone you're not.
I'm picturing Rose McGowan. Rose McGowan's on the set, and they're like calling her by her character name, and she's like, "No, what is this? I'm Rose. What's happening?
It looks
Who
like
are
she
you?"
also had like a Britney Spears meltdown because she completely shaved her head, kind of a thing.
Yeah, I noticed that from the promo
So-
picture. I was very curious about that.
So
Yeah, and
I
then
mean,
there was more, but
she talked about activism and other stuff like that. So it's like that's not my jam. That's not Dale's jam. But like I said, I can see how it would appeal to most people. But yeah, like I said, or like Dale said, it would be nice to just like you sit down and you laugh at a bunch of stuff. And there was a lot of jokes. And there usually are like Nick. Have you listened to Ask Me Another?
Yeah.
Before? Okay. So you're familiar that there's a lot of jokes going on and stuff, and you typically do laugh at a lot of stuff. I mean, it's mostly brought on by Jonathan Colton and some funny interactions therein, but I don't know. That part wasn't for me, but the rest of it I enjoyed pretty thoroughly. So.
Jonathan Colton truly made it actually somewhat enjoyable.
Dale's review.
It was not, that was not a good first impression for me for the NPR thing. Because it seemed like, the host's lines the funny ones were the made-up ones. It's when she went, like, ad-lib, it didn't seem too funny.
Are you talking about Ophira, or are you talking about Rose? Okay.
The one that was with Jonathan Colton.
Yeah, okay. I don't know, she seems pretty genuine to what she usually is. So.
Okay. It's my first time to see it.
No, I that's why I wanted to talk about it, because you hadn't witnessed or heard an episodes before, but yeah, it was a cool like they were actually doing like pickups at the end where like, hey, we screwed this up, so let's re-record it for when we actually post it.
Or
so
hear it well or something like
yeah,
that.
so I mean, it was cool to kind of see that like this is what professional podcasters do, and we're like, just edit it later.
For us, we're like, well, we hope Nick comes back online.
Last month when he dropped, and I was like, why don't you try disconnecting and reconnecting, and then it worked.
How many takes do you guys do? About a half. We don't even do a full take usually.
What's a take?
We take what we get.
I would love a take 5. I love candy bars. So back to C2E2. Did you guys have like any favorite costumes you saw?
Well, we did go to the costume contest.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, I did before that on Friday. I ran into a really awesome Ahsoka cosplayer, and she was cosplaying Ahsoka from Star Wars Rebels, and I asked her how she made her headpiece because I want to make that someday, maybe. So that was probably my favorite of the con, just because I got to talk to that person. They were very genuine and willing to share their tips and tricks, which is always nice.
I at first I saw your shirt when you sat up and was like, oh, you're wearing a Rebel shirt, and I'm like, well, kind of.
I'm a Rebel scum.
Nick, did you have any favorites?
I thought that Hulkbuster was pretty good.
Oh yeah.
That was pretty awesome.
Did you also see the Transformer?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see them
I
fight?
saw that guy. They didn't fight, no.
There was a video posted to Twitter, I think, where they were duking it out.
Yeah.
Well, I saw them
trying
awkwardly to get up the ramp onto the stage.
Yeah.
And then,
it's the weirdest concern where you're like, most people are like, oh yeah, steps, that's not difficult. And then even like when you're in most cosplays, you're like, well, steps are still not difficult. And you're in a giant costume, the biggest concern is, can I get myself onto the stage? Do I need 2 or more people to help me ascend 3 stairs to get onto the stage? And you think that's really dumb and funny, but it's like that's an actual concern for some people because their costumes look great, but you might not actually be able to get up there.
Yeah. Our friend Josh was in the costume contest. That was cool.
Yep,
He
that was
won.
pretty good.
He was
He won-
Legolas.
Yeah, he was
And
Legolas, and he won second place in his category, so that's
That's
very
pretty
exciting
excellent.
for him. So,
Congrats to you, Josh, if you're
He
listening.
just means he was the first one to die when the winner got to slaughter the
Yeah,
losers.
I saw that he remade his whole quiver more accurately to the
yeah,
movie. So
he
that
made
was
he
pretty
made
cool.
like a lot of his stuff like
Mhm.
literally the week before the con. So.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean that was the closest to the convention that I actually
Yeah,
saw.
yeah.
So it was like, and that was the night before, I think.
Yeah.
And one of the
It's kinda
judges was from Weta.
Mm-hmm.
From
So
who?
that was from Weta Workshop.
Weta did like
What a what?
Weta workshops. They worked on like Lord of the Rings, and they're working on the Warcraft and stuff like that. So,
Gotcha.
did you have any favorites, Dale, or was it the
Well-
Transformer you were talking about?
Well, I mean, to be honest, my favorite was probably the orc.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I was like, is Dale going to mention that? Because if he's not, I'm going to. But I will.
I
I will
played
pile
World of
onto that.
Warcraft for years upon years, so I thought that was very great detail. And
Yeah.
Oh,
the fact
it
that
was.
his helper was a paladin too was pretty funny.
Yeah. I met Steven at Dragon Con like 2 years ago, I think.
I think
he was,
so. Sounds
Yeah, he was
right.
in the parade with us that year in his
Mhm.
foam Inquisitor costume, which was completely out of
Yep.
foam.
Mhm.
And then he.
Well, he was alive, but I mean, the costume was foam.
Well, yeah, no, Steven is entirely foam. Didn't you know that,
You
Dale?
just said he was made entirely out of foam.
No, the costume was entirely out of foam, but he brought he's been working on this this orc from World of Warcraft and like the Warcraft series, I should say, for I don't know how many months now, but
I've been seeing it pop up every so often for a long
yeah,
time.
he's been really good about posting progress updates and stuff, and that's actually like I used his technique on making his foam look like leather on this stuff. And he used the same technique on his orc because there's a lot of like leather parts, and considering it's all foam, he did the same thing, and that technique works great. But yeah, he was there and he was showing that it was just amazing. I mean, I got the chance to help him out, and I'm 6'4". I don't know how tall Steven is, but it's like this giant bulky thing, and then it still like came up to about my height, maybe. So it was just kind of like, oh, that's big and imposing to most people, and it's the same height as me, but it's
I would
like
be scared.
super wide, so it's like really cool. But yeah, I mean, like props to him because he had like stilts on, and there was no breathability in that thing, so he was just dying on Friday because he didn't bring his. He had like a cool vest or something that he was supposed to wear, and he didn't bring that, so I was like trying to help them out with hydrating. So yeah, the paladin you were talking about was Josh from Cullen Cosplay, and he was cool too. So I got to hang out with them for a bit, and it was just awesome. So yeah, definitely worth checking them out. So did you guys, Steph? You found that print, the T-Rex print in Artist Alley. Did you guys find anything else that was cool?
I also got 2 prints from Sarah Richards, actually 3 technically, because it was buy 2 get 1 free from Sarah Richards. She did my dinosaur tattoo. Well, she has the Kitty and Dino book, and so I got a tattoo of that this September. And so I got showed to her in real life, and that was cool. And then I ended up buying these 2 matching pink Velociraptor prints, and they're super cool. And I got like a cool owl print for free, so that was awesome.
Oh, nice. Is that like a full-size print?
Yeah, they're all 11 by 17, so.
Nice.
Whoop, Dale fell asleep.
Dale fell asleep.
He just
Nick,
texted me. He texted me. Comp restarted. Tried to stop it. Just keep going.
All right, I'll re-invite him. I know he bought some stuff, but Nick, did you buy anything in Artist Alley?
I got some D&D dice, and that's it.
Sweet.
Oh, yeah.
So you're fully prepped now. Now is that the
Yep.
scoop of dice that
Yeah,
you're talking about?
yeah.
Okay.
I scooped it, and then she put it in a bag.
And you
So
need more D4s now, right?
I don't have any D4s, but I got everything else.
Gotcha. That's good.
Yep.
I know Dale bought some stuff, but we had the first year we had gone to C2E2. We went into Artist Alley, and I think it was you had coined the term the Hall of Shattered Expectations, Because
Yep,
everybody
I did.
there is just incredible at art. It's like the best artist I've seen at any convention, like percentage-wise.
Yeah, I always stock up at C2E2.
Yeah, C2E2 is the con that I buy art at,
Yeah.
just because everybody there is really good. So if you ever make it out to C2E2, or you have been going and you've never gone to Artist Alley, or have not thoroughly gone through there, just check people out there because they do some really good stuff. I bought a few things which are hanging up already. The problem with my place is I don't have enough space on my walls, so like Jen and I have a collection of prints that we have not hung up yet. But I really like Metal Gear Solid, so I got this Phantom Pain print
Nice.
there, which I need to find a place for. But I liked it because it was like a movie poster. And I got some comics from a guy I was talking to there. My camera won't focus. Okay. He was doing this like post-apocalyptic thing he said he grew up in Chicago. And he was doing this post-apocalyptic comic where there were like 12 characters or something, and like each issue that he came out with was a new character, and I kind of liked that trope because it lets you focus on one character and their narrative.
Is it in Chicago? Or is it set in Chicago?
Yeah, it's set in Chicago, and I don't know I don't remember what he said, or if he said what the post-apocalypse was brought on by, but I liked his concept. I haven't gotten around to reading him yet, but
What is it called?
it is. I'm gonna go grab him.
Now that Kevin's gone, the show is mine. Now let's talk about what people really want to hear.
It's called the 12.
Uh-huh.
So
My reign was short.
he had 4 issues that were out at the time. So I was like, just give me all 4, because he was a cool dude, and like he was a writer, I think. I don't think he's the artist. So, but it sounded interesting enough that I was looking to pick up some stuff, and I was like, I will take those. So sometimes you go in and you don't know what you want, and you'll find something. So, let's see if we can get Dale back so he can talk about what the things he found, because he was looking for stuff and didn't know what he wanted. But since he moved to a new place, he is looking to decorate. There he is.
Ah, give
Dale,
there he
you're
is.
back.
Yes.
You've returned. We're talking about C2E2 art.
Yes.
And I said that you were going through Artist Alley, didn't necessarily know what you wanted, but you wanted something.
Right.
So why don't you talk about your findings?
So, I mean, when I go through, I kind of do like have a specific kind of art that I'm looking for. Not to say that the ones I'm not looking for aren't good. It's just not my taste, kind of a thing.
Yeah. You got like style preferences.
Yeah. So, I mean, I usually try to get something, but at this point, I think the only thing I'm really looking for at this point is probably more Dragon Age video games, specifically, like the ones I like. At this point, I've got like all the Harley Quinn, the Samuses, the stuff I really want from the artist I see every year, kind of a thing. Where, I mean, Jen's probably close to that way too.
Yeah, she definitely has her like favorite artists that she's bought art from, but we kind of operate on the same likes. So a lot of the prints that we have are like just superhero stuff, because we have a superhero kitchen, and it's kind of branching out into our living room as well. So
The kitchen?
Yeah, our kitchen is superheroes.
I thought it was just slowly assimilating the house.
Maybe. If that's her prerogative, then she can go for it. But I've got my Dragon Age room here that has.
It also seems like Artist Alley seems to grow a little bit each year, kind of a thing too. Like they give it more and more total con space, kind of a thing.
Yeah, and I mean, as far as C2E2 goes, if they're going to keep bringing really good artists, I don't care if it takes up more space.
Right.
It
Yeah, I
means
prefer
more
Artist Alley
good
than
content.
exhibitors anyway.
I mean, there are some good exhibitors there. The Ren Fair is there each year, and that's where Dale and I try to buy our tickets because you can get them for What are tickets up to for the Ren Fair now? Like $25?
I want to say it's even more than that, but we got
Maybe,
it for
but
16.
$16, yeah. So I mean that's $10
That's
off
nice,
for it.
yeah.
If you know that you're gonna go, it's good for the whole season. So
And
I mean,
they also
ticket.
there is the medieval
medieval
dinner.
times.
Yeah, the medieval times dinner kind of a thing, which it's always. I mean, that they always have good deals for that stuff too. If you ever really wanted to go, kind of a thing.
So let's move on from there. C2E2 is great. They already have their
$23 right now.
It's
the
23
Bristol.
bucks.
Yep.
Gotcha. I think they posted their dates for next year, which I didn't actually write in the outline, but
It's
I
in
believe
April.
it's like April 7th, I think. C2E2.com. Next year, April 21st through the 23rd. So
They're just so inconsistent.
Yeah, I guess they're
They-
just Indiana and C2 are just gonna switch back and forth every year. I guess.
I mean, I'm fine with it because like we don't do ASEN anymore. That was always the
Yeah.
con that it was getting mixed up with. So the people at ASEN kind of drew me away from that. Or
Well,
the
I think they're all 10 years
the
younger than us
hijinks. Yeah, the hijinks that ensued there were a little bit more obnoxious than I wanted to.
Kind of twice their age now for the
Yeah.
people that are showing up there. So I mean, if I can cut myself in half, then maybe it would fit better there. But
Please,
yeah,
please, you know those two halves would regrow because you're a monster, Dale.
that's how I reproduce.
Oh, okay.
Like Deadpool, are you gonna have like a little baby arm?
yeah, he'll just have like two little nub arms.
I need you. You're gonna need to leave the room.
Oh no.
Gross.
It must feel gigantic.
So, Dale, the next con for us is Magic City Con. That's
Is
June.
it?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
What about
It's-
Indiana? Are you guys not?
Yeah.
If you're going, Dale, that's cool. I'm probably not going to go to that.
You're a horrible person.
I'm
You never go to
sorry.
that con anymore. It's like you don't care.
I've never been to that con ever.
I know. It's like you
It's the
don't
best
care at
one.
all.
Well, maybe we'll see if I work that weekend. Because I mean, if you're going anyway, then
Yeah. We'll
It's
see.
April 29th, I believe.
I'll have to check that later. I'm not going to check my work schedule right now, but
I'll have to make sure I can get off the times for it, but if I can, I will.
okay. So Magic City Con is the next big event that I'm going
Yes.
to, and that's June 10th through the 12th. That's down in Birmingham, Alabama, and
For now.
I'm pretty stoked for that because I'm hoping to debut my Grey Warden stuff there,
Mm-hmm.
which I've been working on.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Valentine, the voice of Alistair Theron, is going to be a
I
guest.
don't know why
there.
you looked behind you like
Well,
you thought he was listening in. It's like, oh shit, he's here. That's what he thinks in the neck. He walks away.
Right. And then Jennifer Hale's going to be back. She was there last year, so she is hosting a voice acting workshop. So look forward to that. If you're
She
going to
and
Magic
I
City Con.
might be working on a project together. We'll see.
Really? Well,
Yeah,
that
we-
would be cool.
We might be trying to sell wares.
Is all of your stuff for Three Sovereigns? Are you going to be the Three Sovereign
Maybe.
store?
Maybe.
Overpriced.
Overpriced.
So overpriced.
Jackass. You're going to try to undercut me? 2 sovereigns.
Maybe I'll make the Two Sovereign store, and then we'll talk.
We'll
Yeah.
see if it actually happens.
Maybe
but
I'll show a little Grieve.
I think you're showing enough of your cooters, alright? Settle down.
That's a little armor joke.
Cooters.
Little armor humor for you. Way to keep it fresh.
Because
Remember to wear protection, folks.
Greaves go on the legs, and the term is show a little leg. So,
What?
No one cares.
funny joke, but
No, it's not.
I'm sorry.
This is worse than the
It's a cricket
hydraulic press
noise.
joke.
Somehow we did manage to sink below the hydraulic press joke.
I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry.
Listen, you stick with being the pretty one, and I'll be the funny one, alright? I'm the funny one.
Which one am I?
You're the muscle.
Yeah.
yeah.
You're the athletic one.
News says stupid Three Sovereign store. I agree. That's actually a joke from I think that was last
Yep.
last Ren Fair, right?
Yep.
Because you're like, buy my book. I was like,
Yeah.
how much? You're like, 3 sovereigns, 1 for each chapter.
Do you know how hard it is to make a book back in then?
Uh-huh. No printing presses.
Slave
but-
labor.
But you have magic.
Yeah, well, we don't know if that...
I don't know if that helps.
You just do this and then there's suddenly a book written.
Woo.
But the tomes there are huge.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we were talking
like
about
the first Xbox. Heavy.
we were talking about the Renaissance Fair. Dale and I kind of
No, we were
co-host.
just talking about Magic City Con.
Yeah, but I mentioned.
Oh,
mentioned
so
the
we're
3
done with that
sovereigns.
now?
Yeah, dude, if you want to say more about it.
All
Sorry,
right,
I'm just like trying to move through this because we're running out of time, man.
Fine, we'll go to the Ren Fair. Go.
No, all right, you got something to say? You got
No,
something to
right
say,
now?
Punk?
Nope, you
We're
ruined
going
it.
to the Ren Fair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like an hour drive.
Let me take you on a magical journey to the Bristol Renaissance Fair.
That
It's gonna take
sounds
me
a
like an hour
lot
to get there.
creepier than you think it did.
Are we gonna do like some sort of late night slaughter ritual there?
I hope so.
Don't spoil it, man.
We have an
I
altar
think we
for
keep
it.
getting to go every year.
Just edit that out in post.
Okay. So, the Dragon Age at the Bristol Renaissance Fair, there were actually a couple people that were asking about it at C2E2. And they're like, in the past, people have apparently wanted to go, but it was posted too late, or they didn't know about it, and then they found out about it, and it's like, well, I can't go now.
Or it's in
So-
the wrong country. Or...
Yeah, there is a Bristol.
Jeez, Kevin, move it to a different country so people can go.
I'll move it over to the UK next year. Somebody over there can host it. But we are doing it again this year, and we found that July 30th and 31st that's their fantasy weekend. So
Fantasy.
It's whatever
Yeah.
your fantasy wants
So,
to be.
we decided that
As long as it's medieval.
Saturday, July 30th will be the day that we go to the Ren Fair. Sue wants to know how many years we've gone to the Renaissance Fair. Dale?
We've always been there.
13? Probably
No.
at least 13.
Is that how many you've been going just yourself? Or are you including me in that? Because I'm trying to think.
No,
I've
I'm
been
not
going for
including
13
you
years.
in that, no.
Okay, because I'm like,
I've been
I don't know
going
what
since
I've
I
been
was like 8.
doing. Okay.
So
So,
it was probably more like 20-some years, to be honest.
I've only been there like 3 times.
Yeah, I've only gone 2 or 3 times. I think the past 2 years I think 2 years ago was my first time.
I
I
want
think I was only there twice actually.
Get your story straight.
No, 3. Because one, I forgot about the Doctor Who one.
Yeah, there's a video on that. I want to say the first time I went was probably something like 2007, 2006 maybe.
Sounds about right.
I would
'Cause you
venture to guess 2007 because I think I was dating Julie at the time.
And you got to remember, you got to give a few years before Alistair appeared, because we were trying to be the medieval like raiders or whatever.
Oh yeah, somebody complimented me on my brilliant shades of brown.
I want to say that was
Brown
Dirk.
stuff. That was
Dirk.
no. Dirk always said thank you for raiding our villages or something
Exactly.
like that, and I'm like, well, okay, you're welcome. So, yeah, we've been going every year for a while now. So, Kat wants to know if we're staying for both days of that weekend.
For the Ren
We're
Fair?
basically, I'm gonna. Well, we're probably gonna drive separately because you're in Illinois now, Dale, and that would be
I'm
me
sure.
going
Let them
beyond
know.
and then coming back.
Or if you drive down and stay for the night.
Why would I do that when I live in Wauwatosa and don't have to drive that far to get back?
Because I'll never know when you actually fucking show up then, because you're never on time.
Oh, yeah, okay. No, I'm just going Saturday, so that's the day. July 30th is the hard deadline I'm making. But
Unless weather.
yeah, maybe.
Because then we might push it
We
to
might
Sunday.
have to delay it, but I don't know. There is a Facebook group I created today. I'll put a link in that in the description after this is posted, so you can join that group, invite your friends, come hang out. We'll talk Dragon Age. Hope to see some more Dragon Age cosplay there. That'd be cool. But that's that. Are either of you two going?
I want to go.
Maybe.
Okay.
I always
That'd be
go
cool.
at least once, usually Bradford will drive me and some other people.
Last year, didn't you guys go like the day after we were there?
Yes, because we just failed at coordination.
Dude, no, were you guys trying to go with us? Or
We
No,
wanted
they were trying to avoid us.
I think it was like, for some reason we couldn't go that Saturday, but we could go that Sunday, and we found out later you guys are going Saturday and not Sunday, and then it was a whole thing.
We always try to do this Saturday because in
Yeah.
case something bad goes on, we always have Sunday to go, kind of a thing.
I think usually people just have too much stuff going on Saturday here.
Well, and then Nick also works on Sundays, so that
Right.
encourages him to, be back. And Dale, you work early on Mondays, so you can stay out later. Because we usually get like custard and burgers after. So.
Well, we will try to go that date.
Okay.
So we can all hang out.
So speaking of fantasy and nerdery and stuff, Gen Con is August 4th through the 7th this year, and I want to go. I found out that I don't work that weekend, so I'm going to plan on going to that. And I believe Jay and Wendy are going to just Indiana cons this year.
Yep.
And that's in Indianapolis, so I'm assuming they're going. So that would that's on my list. And Dale, you've been bugging me to try to get to Gen Con for and I've always wanted to go because we're like D&D nerds, and that's kind of what. And
that was the first con I've ever been to too, back when I was in Milwaukee and everything. So if it wasn't for Gen Con, I don't know how much con-goey I would be. But this is also one of the only cons I will think about maybe not even going in costume. I'll still probably bring costumes for it and everything, but there's just so much to do, and usually there's so much free swag and fun stuff to do that the costume might just get in the way of getting to do that kind of stuff.
How hard is it for you to sit down in your barrack stuff? Because I think you just have a coat and then your pants, and that doesn't impede anything, right?
No.
Okay, like for me, I've got like the armor that goes around the waist.
You got the ass
because of hindrance, I actually have to undo my belt to sit down and like take off all this armor down here.
But hopefully you'll have your Grave Ward and stuff.
Yeah, which would be a lot easier to sit down. Like worst case, I just have to slip off the testes, but we'll see.
I wouldn't mind going for like a lobby con and just to hang out with Jay and Wendy for the weekend.
That's fair. So I don't want to like invite myself to stay over at their place, but Jay, Wendy, if you're listening,
don't let Fly come.
if you if we can stay with you, I'll absolutely like make food.
We'll put Fly as far away from everyone as possible. So the Lord of the
Night Thunder. Get my title right, Dale.
I don't even get your first name right, Fly. Right?
It's true. You can't. You're incapable. You made a deal with a demon, and now you can't say my first name.
Yes, I talked to one of my family members.
Okay. And then that's again August 4th through the 7th. And then after that, Dragon Con, Dale, I think it's just you and me. And
I think so.
Hopefully Jen, she's trying to get off of work, but working retail, I imagine it's pretty tough to get Labor Day weekend off because that's the weekend everybody wants.
Hopefully that one, if not Magic City Con, will have our costumes better upgraded, kind of a thing. You'll have, if you can't get it for Magic City Con, I'm assuming you'll have Grey Warden for Dragon Con.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. I'm waiting to hear back from Dawn on the blue cloth stuff because I can't sew well. But yeah, it's just like that's the scales have to get attached to that. Everything else is pretty much in progress. I've got the shield that I'm building right now, which is more or less almost ready to assemble.
What did I tell you about stealing sewer covers?
They're called manhole covers.
You're a manhole.
Okay, I'm gonna put this back because it's trying to fight me.
It's falling apart.
Yeah, and then I've got these greaves that are boot covers or whatever. So
those look like giant pancakes.
They're platypi if you remember your.
Platypi, yeah. The bane of my existence.
Your Merrill experience. The Merrill experience sounds like a ride at like Universal or something.
Come, see your family members die in front of you. It's the Merrill experience.
Oh yeah.
Good old blood invasion.
That's only if you support her.
Yeah, only if you help her.
Which I did.
So Dale, what else do you have to do on your Varric step before it is optimum?
For now, until the next game comes out.
Yeah. And then change
Oh,
the
God.
design again.
Yeah. Oh look, Varric's just in full plate now. No,
okay. I before you start, I do have a question because you have the red shirt and stuff and the pants.
Yeah,
Varric's design on some he has like chaps or some other like weird looking pants, and then like there is the shirt's like tucked in or whatever, so you don't see it. So like what do you have a specific armor set that you're going for?
Basically the
Concept?
The first art release date for Dragon Age 3 they released is kind of what I'm shooting for. I'm waiting to hear back also on Dawn about putting together the pants for the art, but
oh, you
the
did
chest
commission
piece
for those pants. That's cool.
Yeah.
Dawn is still unpacking her studio, as far as I know. Was when I
fine.
was there like a month ago.
I feel so
Or 2
terrible like
weeks ago.
hassling anybody who I'm like, please make this for me because I can't.
No,
do it."
she is very excited to make your guys' stuff. It's just they just moved to their new house a few
totally
weeks
get
ago,
it,
and
but-
yeah.
I just want to make sure that I can get it. Like, I'm not making, like, empty promises like, oh, yeah, I want to get it done for this. And it's like, no, Kevin, don't make those promises. I can't keep them.
If she has a deadline, it'll get done. Don't worry.
Okay.
She's good about that stuff.
Oh,
But, like, Jen's the one who commissioned that, so I'm just kind of, like, the middleman.
and she did a much better job with my shirt too, because only one of the penises fell off.
Do you want to elaborate on that, or are you going to leave
No, I
that
think
as
that's
a
fine.
no
I don't think
context?
context is needed for the penis.
No context.
Okay. All I have to say is zoom in really close on the shirt details.
What do you mean by that?
I'm providing
Zoom in really close to
context,
see the
but
penises.
zoom in really close to Varric's shirt details, and it will be made clear.
I like how
I
you
don't know
gave
if that
even
was
less context, because you're like, zoom in really close to see the penises.
They'll figure it out.
So Dale, what else do you have to do on that?
So, pauldrons, greaves, I want to, like I said, update the boots and the pants, and then we need to work on, probably the harness is probably the first thing that we need to get done. Because I do want to put my quiver of bottled water in there.
Oh yeah. I'm trying to remember. Chris Miles, Amon-Ra Creations, made this. He was working on like a Varric costume, but I think somebody had commissioned. I don't know if it was a gift or not. Varric has a quiver on like his lower back, and he actually took a Nalgene water bottle and put leather around it, and then added like all the ornamentations. And what you can actually do is pop the top off of that, and you actually it turns into a cup. And you can, it looks like a quiver, but it's actually a water bottle. So if you're like dehydrated at a con, you can be like, hey, just pour me a drink. And I'm assuming you could fill it with other liquids, but why wouldn't you want water if you're worried about being dehydrated, right? In Atlanta heat.
Well, it's going to be even worse this year.
Yeah. So I sent Dale a link to that, and he's like, we should do that. That's a good idea. So that might be something that we wind up doing now that I have my foot in the door on leatherworking. I don't know why I gestured to the Lego jet there. I meant the leather here.
No, it's the mirror.
Yeah, oh, sure. All this up here.
And then the final thing, which I have to send a notice in, is to talk to Arda and see if I can get like Jay's Gandalf wig kind of a thing.
Okay.
See if Arda can do something like that, because the wig just doesn't want to stay put together.
Okay. I feel like the one you have looks really good. It looks better than the first one that you had. So
well, it's better than either of the ones I've had before that.
Yeah, that's true.
If you get it from Arda, it'll be too heavy.
Yeah, I would recommend not. And they also don't do commissions, so.
Oh, really?
And also for other reasons that I can't disclose.
Oh, okay.
Custom.
Thanks, Steph. Thanks for that context.
Good to know.
Jay got his from Custom Wig Company.
Oh,
Yeah.
you did?
Yeah, it was
Oh,
not Arda.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Didn't know that. Never mind.
Sorry, Arda, you're off the list.
Well, looks
Yep.
like we're gonna lose that sponsor. Thank you very much.
Well, maybe stop making such heavy wigs.
And yeah,
We're
Like, how
calling you
heavy
out.
are we?
cosplays.
This is-
I
How
think
heavy are
cosplays
we-
better
wait.
wigs anyway.
How heavy are we talking? Because I'm carrying around a 14-pound fake crossbow.
They're just
And
really thick. They're overly thick, and they also don't have very large wig.
cranial size.
No,
Yeah,
they're good for people with big heads, which is bad for me because I have to like strap it on so intensely that I end up like cutting my
Well,
forehead.
I
I
had
have
to
a big head.
remove the stretchy part so it would fit on my head for my wig.
Steph, I'm just picturing like in the back of your wig you have somehow dissected the 90s and you've put the pumps into like a headband and you're just like push the back of my head.
Yeah,
What's going on? It's just like
yeah. She's got a
Too
wonder
much.
wig on, is what it is.
I prefer Epic Cosplay because they have really big. Can't remember the word. Lace front. It's not lace front. It's where the cap is like you can style it any way, and they have it a lot farther back than most of the Arda wigs do. And I can't remember what the term is called, which is bad, but
Wonder wig.
Wonder wigs.
Like Wonder
yes,
Bras.
Wonder wigs.
You can find them in the bread section of your local supermarket. Just look for the white and white label with the red and blue dots.
Near the wheat.
Yes, near the wheat. So do we want to answer some question? There's only one.
Answer some question.
Answer some question. I was gonna say questions, but it's like, oh, there's only one.
Okay.
All right. I was curious if you guys had a bucket list convention that you wanted to attend, and/or a bucket list costume that you would like to build and/or wear.
As far as
Skin
conventions,
top. Sorry, that was the word I couldn't think of.
The skin top one?
Sorry.
That sounds like
Is that
you
the
have some moves.
costume, or is that the
It's-
con you want to go
that's
to?
your bucket list costume, skin top.
I was like, I think Ron's been to a few of those, but
Yeah.
No, that's just the term that means that the skin top is really big on the top of the wig, so you can style it and part it any way you want. And
now
it's
I want to start a circus
a
called
nice-
Skin Top.
What
Sorry,
Steph is
continue.
actually doing is just going around scalping people whose hair she likes.
just
That's
putting
what
it on my
it's so
head.
heavy.
Here we call it a skin top wig.
Is Skin Top just a derogatory word for bald people?
It is now.
That's what I feel like it is.
I feel like that's a good
Quiet,
inside
skin
joke
top.
that we should hold on to for a long time. So,
Sorry,
Nick,
continue with your question.
Nick, were you gonna talk about bucket list stuff?
I was gonna say at one point I would have said San Diego, but now I kind of just don't want to, just based on having learned more about it from people who do go there.
You wanna just be in the H line or line H or whatever it is, Hall H.
Yeah,
I want to be
the-
magically transported to the front row in Hall H.
That's
I like the
No
one
idea what that
convention.
means.
There's like a notorious, incredibly long line in their Hall H that people are. That's just all they do. There's a specific hall and they're just in line all the time. That's what
For
I've been
what?
told. I don't know. I
'Cause
don't know if
that's
it's
where-
admission or if it's in line for something specific.
It's usually because that's where all the big name panels
Oh.
are, like the Marvel,
Oh.
like the Avengers, like the entire cast will be there or something like that.
I gotcha.
So it's one of those things you got to be in. Like, I'm in line 12 days ahead of time.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I also had wanted to go to San Diego Comic-Con for the longest time because I thought like, oh, this is it for American cons. It's like this is the best. This is like the Super Bowl of cons. But then I was told by Robert that if you like cosplay, that is not the place for really, really good cosplay. That's not the best place for it. You're going to find the best cosplay at Dragon Con. And that's when I found out about Dragon Con and that I should go there instead. So it's... San Diego Comic-Con is like, if you want to know about like nerdy entertainment stuff, like all the entertainment industry stuff is going to be there. You'll have good cosplay too, but that's kind of the trade-off, whereas Dragon Con is the inverse. There are entertainment people there, but it's predominantly like you hang out with friends and there's really, really good costuming, and then everybody's really sweaty and hot, but
Yes.
it's somehow really entertaining. So, by proxy, at least I think so. That's my kind of synopsis of it. But anyway, that's beside the point. I'm sorry, Nick.
As far as like a costume, I really want to do Yellow Jacket from Ant-Man, but that requires a lot of work.
And LEDs.
Yeah,
And lasers.
and being
lasers.
able to fit.
Also being able to shrink down to a very tiny size for accuracy. Right?
Nick, we could just make the costume your size the way you are now.
But it won't be accurate.
Well, to be fair, it's not going to be accurate anyways. We're not giving you lasers.
Well, you don't know my dedication.
Along those lines, if Nick ever does Yellow Jacket, I really want to do Wasp, which they showed sort of a prototype of her costume.
I'm sure they're going to make an Ant-Man 2, and you're going to see her in that.
Yes. So that's why I'm just going to wait until that comes out. So that's a far off in the future.
Now, is that a bucket list, or is that just an add-on to Nick's thing?
No, I would love to do that. It looks really awesome. So.
I have an add-on for that one. I want to be the dog from the Ant-Man movie.
The giant ant?
Yeah. There's one fucked up dog.
Dale, you're already our ant.
Oh, no, Anthony.
Aw.
Anthony.
We just watched that yesterday all together.
Yeah, I finally saw it for the first time.
Do either of you have like a bucket list con to go to?
I would have to say one of the PAXs I want to see. Just to see what it's like, kind of a thing.
No,
I don't...
Which PAX?
Yes.
Or were you just about to say that?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know the difference between the two. I just know that they're in different places.
PAX Prime is in Seattle, I believe.
Yes.
That's the problem with that is it's the same weekend as Dragon Con.
Yes.
3 out of 4 years in a row.
Or it's within a week or something like that.
It's way too close for 2 big cons, and I don't have the funds to do that.
You would if we went through with my plan.
Or the mental capacity to handle that much convention. I would probably get con crud, and then whatever convention comes second would just be like, I don't want to be here, but I do. And then you have PAX East, which a lot of people swear by, and that's in Boston. And then
one of my friends goes that every year, and he loves it.
Yeah, PAX South I would be interested in, because...
Is that in Texas?
That is in Texas.
Okay.
I like Texas. It's in January, so it's not like... It would be a warm-up for us.
Yeah.
And then Grace and Adam are down there, and we're friends with them, so...
You guys are.
Well, you could be. You got to put in the effort, Dale.
No, I tried. They didn't accept my invite. It's for friends.
Okay.
So I'm like, all
Try
right.
harder.
Send threatening emails?
Right.
Perfect idea to do to a cop.
Just drive around and start randomly shooting into the air. Eventually I'll meet Grace.
You're not going to be friends with her at that point. Although she might be like, oh, Dale.
She's going to give me free bracelets. What are you talking about?
Ooh,
She'll be like, you are going to jail.
You can tell they're expensive because they're heavy.
Yeah. They're made out of pure metal.
So, no, Dale, do you have an actual bucket list costume, or is that literally it? Your aunt.
I wish that was it.
I would like to see Dale crawl around as an ant for a day.
I'd get to scare the shit out of people. That's my costume.
Abuse that so hard. You would crawl out of the bathroom. You just wait in a bathroom stall till you heard, like, little kid feet or something, and you just like...
As we know, that is the mating call of the ant. As for, like, a bucket list costume, not something... I don't know, maybe something where I'm not wearing much clothes so I can actually breathe in the costume.
Dale wants to be Dr. Manhattan.
Alright.
Like the comic version.
Yeah, where the penis is just flopping all over the place, right?
Just straight up.
Still. I like
Yeah,
you, but there are not enough friendship points to deal with that.
Yeah, and if my penis falls off on that one, that's going to be a whole
Then
different
you can
subject.
just add it to your Varric coat.
Yes, exactly.
And by coat, I mean shirt.
Uh-huh.
Ooh.
I don't honestly. I don't really have one. I mean, there are some that I'd like to do, but at the same time, like for instance, Drax the Destroyer kind of thing would be a nice one to do because Nick's got his Star Lord. Assuming he'll ever do that again.
Yeah, and you would get to be shirtless in that, so you'd remain cool. But the
And-
problem is, you'd have to be painted like a blue screen and get
Well-
all those red tattoos everywhere.
True. Or if I get
Or
like a
whatever they are.
skin tight shirt or something like
There
that.
you go. You can get a body shirt.
Yeah. So I mean, there's something like that, but I mean, nothing that I'm like I have to do this before I stop going to conventions or die.
Gotcha.
What about you? You have a costume?
Well, Bucket List Con is definitely PAX. That's been. I kind of wanted to go to PAX East this year, but we ran out of time, and it was like I can't afford it.
Like, I figured the hardest part is going to be probably getting hotels and tickets, kind of thing.
That's what I've heard. Is it's just like, oh, they're gone. Okay.
Yeah.
PAX South would be that would probably be the first PAX I would go to if I did PAX, because it's new, so it's there aren't as many people. Well, I mean, it's been going on for 2 years now, I think. But anyway, that's on my list for cons. As far as bucket list costumes, I had my Hunter from Hellgate London. That was a bucket list, and I did it. There were things I wasn't too pleased with, but like as a whole, I was pretty happy with it. You guys have probably heard me complain numerous times about it, but like as a whole,
it was your handler.
yeah. The problem was the goggles, because
they did nothing.
They do the sci-fi thing where it's like, oh, these are opaque and glowy, and you can't see out of them because it's lights.
Yay!
But future, so it's okay. So I had like these little slits that were basically the lenses were up here on my eyebrows, and then I had these little slits to see out of, and it was like I can't see anything. So.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I want to redo that, but I would say that is my bucket list, and I've done it, so that's cool.
You are free to die now.
Yeah, I can stop cosplaying at any point.
I'll be over shortly.
And then like Grey Warden Alistair was kind of that was my jam for a while. I'm working on that right now, but aside from that, I honestly
the King's Armor, Alistair.
No, that's not my jam. That's not who I am.
No, I didn't. No. You
It's not my bucket
got
list.
your jam. Now you have to bow to the will of others.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
I gotta get my peanut butter now.
Okay, we went even lower than we were before.
Yeah, setting the bar lower and lower.
I'm the funny one.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of one because I've kind of already done it. So I'll just stick with PAX and maybe upgrading my. I'm sure there's one out there I'm not thinking of that as soon as we hang up, I'll be like, oh, that one.
Or we'll see it later on at one of the cons and be like, oh yeah, we want to do that.
I'll say Grey Warden Alistair currently, and I'm working on that. So.
Mm-hmm.
Cat, stop it! Don't encourage him.
OGB.
He's a King's Armor Team OGB. No GB.
At C2E2, Samantha, who does our Morgan,
Mm-hmm.
she does a great ballroom Morgan and everything. Her and her husband are at some point planning to have children in their lives. So we're gonna hopefully.
Are they gonna name their son Kieran if they have a son?
I don't know about that. I'm just hoping she cosplays as Morgan.
Oh,
she's pregnant.
Okay. Oh boy.
Well, hopefully it'll be a boy. I mean.
Yeah, Kevin, it's not up to you to make that choice.
Yeah, you're right. But that's my bucket list.
It's to make the choice.
I don't know what I just agreed to. And on that, why don't we head out? Unless you guys have any other stuff you want to talk about.
That's an awesome segue.
Me and Nick are going to Indiana Comic Con next month, so we are excited about that.
Okay.
Yep.
And to eat Brosini's pizza.
Oh
It's
yeah.
pretty good. Get the garlic knots. Those are good.
Yes.
I'll Photoshop another picture of me all sad in the window. You gotta set me up by the window. So make sure you get a table by the window.
Exactly.
Or like by the John Lennon picture, so I can Photoshop myself like right over his head, like up here, or his shoulder or whatever, because I think New York's in the background. So, but if you have a question or talking point that you'd like us to discuss or answer, you can, or horrible criticism, you can email us at thelongconpodcast, that is all one word, at gmail.com. Otherwise, we have very
Gmail.com is not one word.
Yeah, well, it is in the email to text sense.
No, it's a dot. It separates the word.
Stop. Or we have various social media. Mine's over here. Dale, here is yours. It's probably going to be on the other side. Nick.
Mine is in the place that Kevin chooses because when I said it, I yelled at.
Well, you always like throw it above your head and all willy-nilly, and I've had to animate that link, and it's obnoxious. Steph, where can people find you?
At
Here?
her house.
I think it's on the
In
other
my
side.
kitchen?
It's
In
at
your
her
kitchen?
house.
My living room?
Email us for the address.
Where they can find you.
You can find me in the kitchen or in the living room.
Okay.
You'll learn to love, Steph. You'll learn to love cooking.
No!
What if Freddie Prinze Jr. says you will?
Then that's okay.
Okay. And on that
Or
note,
what's Spike's guy's name or whatever?
James
James
Marsters?
Marsters?
Yeah, what
I
about
don't
him?
think James Marsters has a cookbook. Freddie Prinze Jr. does. Go buy
Yeah.
it. Also, Happy Easter, everybody. We'll see you next month.
Goodbye, children.
Bye!
Later, chumps.
Guten Tag.